The rain was relentless that evening, smearing the city lights into long streaks across the windshield. Luke Carter, 37, sat in his old pickup truck outside a rundown foster care building in southern Ohio, staring blankly at the entrance. His hands gripped the steering wheel not from nerves, but from the weight of everything life had thrown at him. A widower, a mechanic by trade, and a father to no one, yet. His heart ached with loneliness, but he hadn't come for sympathy. He had come for a chance. Inside that building were two little girls, twins. 6 years old. Their stepmother had sold them off, not in the illegal underground sense, but with cold legality, relinquishing all rights and dumping them into the system for money from a shady relative. The paperwork was clean. The motive was dirtier than mud. No one wanted to take them. 2 children. Too much responsibility. Too much baggage. But Luke had seen their photo once. That was all it took. 2 fragile faces, holding each other's hands tightly, their expressions distant yet stubbornly alive. Hope, he had whispered to himself, staring at that image. He didn't know why, but something in him had stirred, something that had died with his wife, Anna, 3 years ago in a car accident that shattered not just his home, but the dreams of ever being a father. Luke wasn't rich. He lived modestly, worked long hours in his garage, and still had Anna's favorite coffee mug sitting in the kitchen like she might walk in any day. But what he did have was space in his heart, and in his home. When the twins, Ellie and Emma, were led out to meet him, they didn't speak. They just looked. Cautious. Quiet. As if they had learned to expect nothing and trust no one. Luke knelt before them, soaking wet from the rain. "I don't know how to braid hair," he said softly, trying to smile, "but I promise I'll learn. And I'll never leave you." Emma blinked slowly. Ellie clutched her sister's shirt tighter. They didn't respond. But they didn't pull away either. That was enough for Luke. The first few months were harder than Luke had imagined. The girls barely spoke, ate like they expected their food to be taken away, and had nightmares almost every night. Ellie would scream in her sleep. Emma would silently cry, hiding her face in the pillow. Luke tried everything. Storybooks, soft music, night lights. He made blueberry pancakes every Saturday, Anna's recipe, and left notes in their lunchboxes with little hearts and stick figure drawings. Still, their smiles were rare, and words even rarer. One night, he heard rustling in the hallway at 3 a.m. He stepped out, finding Emma sitting on the floor outside his bedroom, holding her sister's blanket. "What's wrong?" he whispered, kneeling beside her. She didn't meet his eyes. Instead, she murmured, "Do we still belong here if we're broken?" Luke felt his throat tighten. He reached out and gently pulled her into his arms. "You belong with me," he said, "no matter what." That was the first night they all fell asleep in the same room, on the same bed. Just a father and 2 daughters who were all still learning what it meant to be a family. Slowly, things began to change. Emma started singing while brushing her teeth. Ellie drew pictures, always of a man with 2 little girls holding his hands. They began calling him Dad. First by accident, then with purpose. Luke found himself laughing more. Fixing bikes and ponytails, not just engines. His home, once quiet and empty, now echoed with giggles, spilled cereal, and made-up bedtime songs. They were healing together. The 3 of them. But life wasn't finished testing them. One afternoon, a lawyer knocked on Luke's door. The stepmother, who had sold the girls, wanted them back. She had money now. Influence. A new husband. And she was claiming coercion, saying she had been manipulated into giving up custody. Luke's heart pounded. "She doesn't even know their favorite color," he muttered after the man left. The custody battle began. Court dates. Home inspections. Background checks. The girls, now brighter and braver, clung to Luke through it all. He fought with everything he had, sold part of his business, borrowed against his truck, even took side jobs at night to pay for legal fees. During the final court hearing, the judge asked Ellie if she had anything she wanted to say. She stood up, shaky but determined, and walked to the center of the courtroom. Her voice, quiet but clear, echoed, "My stepmother called me a burden. But Daddy says I'm a miracle. And Emma too. He fixed our hearts. Please, let us stay fixed." The judge didn't even look up before slamming the gavel. The adoption was finalized that day. Years passed. Ellie and Emma thrived. Luke often found himself watching them with a quiet awe. They played piano. One joined the drama club, the other started coding on her own. They volunteered at local shelters, made friends, and even started a kindness club at school. One day, on Father's Day, Luke walked into the garage to find a cardboard box wrapped in glitter paper. Inside was a scrapbook. On the first page was a drawing, just like Ellie's early ones, of a man and two little girls holding hands. Above it, written in marker, were the words, "We were sold. But you bought us with love. You didn't just rescue us, you made us believe in miracles. Happy Father's Day, Dad." Luke couldn't stop the tears that flowed. The girls were never a burden. They were the answer to a prayer he hadn't even dared to speak aloud. They had filled his life with purpose, softened his grief, and shown him that family wasn't about blood, it was about showing up. Again and again. When it's hard. When it's inconvenient. When it feels like you have nothing left to give. Luke had thought he was saving them. But they saved him right back. Every single day. And in the quiet moments, when the world slowed down and the girls were asleep, Luke would often whisper to the heavens, "Thank you for sending me my miracles in pairs." Heartfelt ending message. Sometimes, miracles don't come with flashing lights or grand entrances. Sometimes, they come wrapped in quiet pain, in two little hands reaching out in the dark, hoping someone will choose them. And when we choose love, again and again, that's when the extraordinary happens. So wherever you are reading from, take a moment to ask yourself, who around you needs to be seen? To be chosen? To be reminded they matter? Because one act of compassion can change a life. And sometimes, it ends up changing yours too.